Congratulations on the film. I've had a chance to sit down and watch it, and congratulations. It's an absolutely fantastic film.
Right, cheers, mate. Much appreciated. Yeah, it was a bit of a battle, but got there in the end. But thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
we'll talk a little bit about that battle in a moment, but I wanted to go right back to the beginning. You've lived such an amazing life. What made you decide to turn everything that had happened into a film like this?
Well, because my band that I managed, one of the bands, Placebo, they weren't really touring at the time. They were kind of took a couple of years off, and I thought, well, I need to do something. Kind of just sit twiddling my thumbs like. So I thought I'd make a film. Well, first of all, I was going to write a book, and I thought that's too hard. Because you go to Watersons and you see like thousands of books out. Well, you'll never sell any books because there's thousands of books out. So I thought I'll have a crack at a film because the film seems easier, and that was it really. Just something to keep me going, something to keep me busy, rather than kind of getting bored.
Yeah.
Hang
And
on a second. Tian! Fucking hell. I hope this isn't a can make a film, and set about doing it. And basically, band encouraged me, Placebo, and my partner Alex. Because when you're out with bands and you're travelling the world and you're on planes and that, you always get bored, so you tell a few stories. And they said, you should write it down and you should do this, you should do that. So I thought, yeah, I'll do it. So that was that. So it's the first of about 3 or 4 we've got. So it was good to get one away and get it done. It was a great learning experience, So it was good to do it.
definitely, one of the things though you are restricted with a film is time-wise. So you've got 90 minutes basically to tell a story. How difficult was it for you to tell your story in 90 minutes?
Well, it's only a little snapshot, isn't it? Because it's only really 3 or 4 months out of ridiculous 40 years of being in the music business. But so it wasn't that hard really, because basically the movie is I put on a gig to impress a girl, put on a few gigs. The gigs get bigger, you end up with a big gig,
Yeah.
So it really only happened over a period of 6 months. So that was quite. But if you were doing it over a longer period, obviously, it'd be kind of a lot harder. But I found it quite easy to sort of shoehorn it into 90 minutes.
Yeah. And how did you find directing? Of course, because this was kind of your directional debut. How did you find directing? What was that like walking onto the set for the first day?
Well, I was like director by default because we had a director. We did 2 shoots. Actually, we did 3 shoots. The third shoot was only like a couple of days for the Iron Maiden stuff. But in all honesty, it was a bit of a disaster. We had a different director guy on it. So I looked at the cut and thought, I think I might jump off the bridge here and just like put weights on and go at the bottom of the River Tay. It was terrible. So I thought, what we're going to do? And I got this editor guy, and he said, look, they've got loads of footage here. Why don't we write new scenes? Because I had loads of ones put in it. So we came to Bangkok and we wrote 14, 15 new scenes, went back to Dundee and we shot 15 new scenes, and this new guy, Khaled, and me directed it. So I was really on for it was a sort of different team for the second shoot. But I found it really easy what I had to do because all it basically was me saying to the actors, this is what happened. Now, how would that happen? Well, this is what I did, or that is what John did, or that's what Shona did, and that's the way she would talk, and that. Very simple, really. And I just thought, if you've got a good location and it looks good, that's good. If you've got a great soundtrack, that's good. So even though the script might be rubbish, at least you've got something good to look at and listen to. So I thought, if we can do a good script, we're nearly there, So the script, there was a lot of good bits in the script had to be left out because of the reshoots and continuity and all that sort of stuff. So to answer your question, yeah, it was a battle, but the first time, like I say, we went on for the second shoot, I found it really easy because you're just working with 10, 20 people, and you know everybody, so it's not exactly intimidating or nothing because you know everybody,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's just like just lights, action, camera, whatever, stop, start. That's it. I mean, I know I might be trivialising it a bit, but it's not like brain surgery, is it? You're having fun. You know?
Yeah.
It's all about fun at the end of the day.
You mentioned, you mentioned some of the battles there. What were some of the other battles that you did go through? Because I know in the press release it says that there was a fair few battles that had to go through to get this to screen.
Oh, to screen? Well, actually, we were very lucky because the Edinburgh Festival picked it up, and so that was great. So Edinburgh Festival, that's a real prestigious thing. We went there, we won the award, best audience or whatever, and then we were we were the fastest selling tickets. So we started to generate some sort of heat, like, you know. Then I did a lot of interviews, and then it went to cinemas. It was the number one new entry in the box office.
Yep.
Had 256 screens, which for a little indie film was amazing. Then it got held over on another 190 screens for the second week, and it was doing great. Then everything shut. So it wasn't really hard to get it to screen because people that were organising that got it to loads of screens. I mean, it was like for a little indie film, it was. So that was good. But the actual physically making it was the hard thing, you know, like the not the shooting and all that, but getting Iron Maiden involved, getting them on side, talking to their manager, getting things that, I mean, it had to be perfect for them to take part. So we had to do all that stuff again. So there were just little challenges. I mean, you wouldn't say it was hard, but it was just good fun, you know.
Yeah.
It was good fun all the way, really.
How did you go about that, getting Iron Maiden on board? Because I've been involved with a television project here in Australia where we had to try and get Nirvana on board, which was very, very difficult. So how did you go about getting Iron Maiden on board?
Well, it was funny. I got in touch with the manager, and basically he didn't like the way it was shot, you know, the way they were portrayed, because some of the script wasn't right. So I was in Tokyo, and I was sitting in Tokyo, and I got this phone call, and I thought it was from my friend, like a friend of mine. So I just started saying, "Oh, I'm in Tokyo. You wouldn't believe what's going on in this bar. There's this guy. He's obviously on a sort of, what do you call these Tinder date or something. He's making a complete arse of it, and it's really funny to watch." And this guy goes, "Who do you think you're talking to?" It's Ben. He says, "No, it's Rod. It's Rod." He said, "Rod Smallwood." I went, "Oh, Iron Maiden." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh," he says, "I've got bad news for you." I says, "Let me read your mind. I'm in Tokyo, you're in London. You don't like the dialogue around Iron Maiden, and you don't like the guy playing the tour manager, and you don't like the way you're represented. Is that right?" He said, "Correct." I says, "I'll change everything, okay?" He said, "Right, okay, let's talk." So then we talked, and we got a new actor to play the tour manager. They gave us the footage for the film. They tweeted about it. They did competitions, and I got on great with them. It was really funny, and we had some great conversations about the script. I mean, it was really funny. We were going back and forward, and Rod Smallwood ended up writing a couple of the lines, and it was a laugh, like, you know. So it was good fun with them, and I'm glad I got them on side, like, you know, because it was important, you know, very important.
Definitely. And you mentioned before the brilliant soundtrack.
Did that answer the question?
Yeah. For some of the listeners out there that haven't had a chance to see the film, tell us a little bit about some of the acts that they could hear on the soundtrack, and how difficult was it to put that soundtrack together?
Well, it wasn't that difficult. A lot of the bands I used to promote, can't remember the names off the top of my head, like Fisher's End, Scars, XTC. Well, they're actually not on the soundtrack, XTC. Simple Minds, Ultravox. Well, they're not on it either, actually. But it was just bands that I used to promote who were never really huge, you know. So it wasn't like you were trying to get AC/DC and, you know, sort of Metallica or anything like that. You know, so it wasn't like crazy money. In fact, the hardest track to get was the one from the Associates, who were actually from Dundee. And Billy Mackenzie died many years ago, and we couldn't get the okay from the publisher or the record company. And the guy who plays my dad, Kit Clark, who plays my dad in the movie, who was in Danny Wilson, he said, "Oh, I'll phone up Alan Rankin, who was in the Associates with Billy." So we got the okay just like that 5 minutes later. So, yeah, to answer the question, it wasn't really that hard. Yeah, I mean, it cost a bit, like, of course. I mean, the music does cost money, but I mean, there were so many songs we wanted in, but I ended up I mean, it would have just been too many songs. I think there's 23 or 24 songs, and I dropped about 4 or 5. So, but anyway, it turned out good. There's some good tracks there. I love Alex Harvey, Faith Healer. I think that's my favourite track on it. I love that.
There's definitely some amazing.
Of course, we own. And then, of course, we own a lot of the tracks anyhow, because I own like the Sandinistas track at the start, the Mirror track at the end, all of that track. And there's a few other tracks, The Colour of Fire are in it, we own that. So, yeah, we owned a few of the tracks anyhow, so it was kind of handy for sort of promoting our bands,
Definitely, and it's an absolutely amazing soundtrack, so I hope our listeners can go and seek that out as well. But I wanted to ask about Connor Berry. He does such an amazing job in this film. What was that like for you, having to go out and try and find an actor to play the younger version of yourself, and what made Connor the perfect guy for that role?
It was, well, we had the auditions in London, and Connor had never been in it. Well, he looked apart, he looked apart, and I met him, and he did the audition, and then I went for a coffee, we had a laugh, talked about a few things, and that was it. And then he came to stay with us in Bangkok for a while before the shoot, and then in when we were shooting the film, him and a few of the cast, like Tara and the guy who played Scott, would come round, John, and we'd have a few drinks. So we built up a really good rapport, and like he knew that much about me, like stories and character and mannerisms, and even though he was with me years ago or whatever, or 35 years ago, he kind of picked up on all the little nuances, and that just I started shooting that in October. So Connor, he was great. He was a real find. Some recognition, the best actor at the New York Winter Awards or something. So that was great.
He does an absolutely amazing job. And David, I know we are running out of time very, very quickly. So before I go, I'd love to ask, what would you like to say to our listeners before they have a chance to go out and watch this amazing film?
Well, if you've nothing planned, you feel like a laugh, 90 minutes, good music, good scenery, discover a new city, watch 3 guys from Dundee try to make their way in the world and escape from the boredom and humdrum life, that's the film for you. And check it out, because it just shows that anybody can do anything. And if somebody says to you, you can't do this, ignore them, just go and do it. It's fun. That's it. That's all I'd say. And buy a hot dog and a Coke.
Definitely. Well, Dave, thank you so much for chatting to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Congratulations on the film once again. And thank you for a lifetime worth of music that you've provided for my life as well.
Top man. Okay, thank you so much. You should go and watch this because that'll be more your era. It's 1985 to 90, Nirvana, Pumpkins, Rage Against the Machine, all that sort of stuff. So I think you'll enjoy that. Okay?
Definitely. Will do, mate. Thank you so much. I'll let you go. Have a great day.
Top man. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
See you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.